Hi, you're back with Laurel's Real Money Talks, where we're teaching you how to make, keep, and invest money, do it around the planet, and get all of your friends involved in this. If you don't, you're just going to stay poor. So we're here at the California Women's Conference, and I ran into Scott deMoulin. It's been
20 plus, we'll just leave it at
20
that.
plus years. Yeah, let's leave it at that. So this is before I had Logan. This was early. I was probably coming out of coaching, my coaching like master's program or whatever I was doing at the time. Bob Proctor said, you got to go work with Scott. We were both in the mentor program with him. You know, I remember striking a $25,000 check thinking, how the hell am I ever coming up with this? And then I flew down to Palm Springs to work with you on values and alignment and just that inner game that you got to figure out early, and we had a great time.
See, I'm going to take all the credit for her success too, because I'm the one who kicked it all off for her.
So tell people, what are you doing now?
Well, we have a company called Destiny Training Systems, but it's called Engage from the Stage. It's how to elevate your impact, influence, and income. And our belief is that people need to be more strategic in the way they convey their message, their market, their money. How do they create wealth from a one-to-many approach as opposed to one-to-one?
Yeah, and you just saw, like, this is the first time Scott seen me present that, right? But there's just I can't wait till you do this for a lot of people, because what I watch around the conference is there's a lot of good messages. They're just dead on the floor.
Absolutely.
Like, there's no impact, there's no pain, there's no cause of some change that's going to happen. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your process. What makes it different when you really work with people that want to project and send a message on stage?
Okay. Well, there's a couple things. Obviously, you have to have a belief that you're going to, you're cheating people if you don't share your message, which I know you do, because you love creating wealth for people. Yep. Most people don't know how to do it.
Yep.
So you have to have a belief, first and foremost. Second of all, you have to know what your outcome is. Like, what's the goal of this outcome? Sell, enroll, get people to believe in themselves. It's also, are you creating value, and are you unique enough? It just can't be, are you just one of another person doing the same old dog and pony show? So if you have a passion for what you want to do, then you're unique enough and you're not competing, you're creating, providing value, you'll be fine.
So do you work one-on-one? Do you work in groups, classroom? And again, for those of you watching, this isn't just Scott pitching his stuff. This is you learning, how are you going to make money? What are different business models? So I want you to see different layers of context in the podcast for what people can do. So is it one-on-one, is it group? How do you do it as a business model?
Okay. As a business model, we do now offer it to business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, because they have the toughest time, making that transition. For the last 10 or 15 years, I've worked primarily with larger businesses who have groups of salespeople or people out there making enrollments or pitches or sales from the platform. So a lot of my business has been with companies. But we've had such a demand to work with entrepreneurs that we're now offering that program so people can, in a group atmosphere. And then we have a boot camp for just the very elite people who really want to make the biggest difference in a small amount of time.
So do you actually do the scripting too?
We work on their scripting, but it's their story. They have to come from their emotion, their story, their background, their history, and the objections. But the truth is, people can't be successful unless they know what their customers' needs and wants are. And that's different for any business, any industry, any person.
So tell me this, what was some pivotal points for you on the stage? Like, if you look at your trajectory of the last 20 years, I've seen you. What had you go from corporate back to entrepreneurs? Like, what are some of those big hot spots where you're like, I'm back home, doing what I love to do?
Well, it's kind of funny because now you just saw me drop down into my heart. We get paid a lot of money from big corporations and big companies to help their salespeople. And what really got me is that I looked at my life and said, my legacy is not to work for them anymore. There's so many people. I could leave a legacy by having an impact, by teaching, but it's better to assist others in leaving their legacy, and that's really why I changed course, if you will. I kind of did pivots. And now I want to impact as many people as possible who are making a difference and making a meaning and not just making money. There's nothing wrong with making money, and I know you agree with me, because you can do a lot with it. The question is, how can you make a bigger impact with the money that you're making? And that's why we need to shift.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of you have that message, you know what you're doing, but you're holding it here, being scared to project and move. And, in my whole transition, it's been this interesting, like, just more and more keeps coming because I keep giving. So I think it's a huge message for people. If they have a message, they got to, get it out in the world.
Yeah, and I think the other thing we can say is to shift from being strategic and being tactical, like what it is and how it works, to being strategic. How is it really going to benefit people, and how can the message changes and shifts and gives you much more value that way.
Scott, thank you. It's good to see
You're
you
welcome.
after all
So
the
great
years.
to see
I
you.
know.
Thanks for that.
So if you want a session, learn from Scott, understand what he's doing, go to asktheworld.com, put in your name, your phone number, email, say, send it on to Scott, please, and we will make sure you get where you got to go, because this podcast is about letting you have access to people most of you maybe don't have access to, so let us be that pivotal place for you to have a conversation about money. Talk to you soon.